type of match where I felt like if I just hung in there and I'd get my chances. Because like also too good if she's able to play that way for 2 sets. Yeah, so I was really glad to kind of hang tough and then have a better third set.
Yeah, it really went your way that way. I have to give a small caveat. I know John from Fantastic Tennis, we're friends, and he gushes about you all the time.
Oh my God, he's cool. The best.
he's been awesome. He's gone to the US Open plenty of times. So I'll keep it professional because he gushes about you, promise. So I mentioned that, or not mentioned, I saw that you and your opponent were wearing Original Penguin, right? And I spoke to Jody the other day, and she said that you hadn't played each other on tour, but because of the shared sponsor, are you familiar with her game, or were you familiar with her game, or just her in general, like despite not playing on tour?
Yeah, no, like I was not familiar with her game. Like we've never even practiced together.
Okay.
I knew she had a big game, but you know, until you play her, you don't really have an idea how big she's hitting. So it was a bit of a like, you know, wow, I was, because we were almost gonna practice in Australia, so when we started playing I was like, oh, I wish I kind of played her before because I would know what to expect a little bit more, but at the same time I think it's exciting to play someone new, and I've actually known her more off court than playing wise, so it was also cool to, you know, we're kind of the only ones wearing Original Penguin and to play each other. It was pretty sweet, I think.
Yeah, the vibes were different, but they also matched. I noticed that. Do you feel like other companies could take a note from Original Penguin and like give more variety, like, you know, differentiate the kits they give to players?
Yeah, I mean, I think Original Penguin is quite original, no pun intended, just with the fact that they're kind of have this old school vibe where it's very retro but still kind of classy and chic. And I love that sort of balance. But yeah, I don't want anyone to take any tips because I feel like it makes Original Penguin unique that way.
Original and unique.
Yeah.
The grounds here are really intimate here at Austin, and there's not that much space between the baseline and the digital backstop. I kind of saw you dodge some of them, like that bounce back really fast. I'm wondering, do you like a more intimate setting here at Austin, or do you like something with a lot more space around it, like Arthur Ashe Stadium, a place you've had success? Which one of those make you feel more comfortable, if you could choose?
Yeah, I think for a week like this, in our calendar at 250, I love the more cozy vibe, when it's a little more fan-friendly, and I think the grounds here are beautiful, and just people in general here are really warm, so I really like that. You know, I think a lot of events, maybe like the slams, it's okay if it's a little bit less interaction because we're so busy and it's hectic and you want to have your space, but I think weeks like this, we really like it, yeah.
Cool. Just a couple more questions. Is that okay? I mentioned knowing John Garika, and you mentioned on this podcast like balancing things and having different interests outside of tennis as you grow older. I spoke to Pagula the other day, and she just celebrated her birthday. She turned 31. You're 31, so I kind of got to thinking a little bit there. She seems really balanced about everything. Like just talking to her, I'm wondering where you are in that journey of like being balanced on the court at a certain age after doing it for so long, and then also balancing other interests outside of just playing tennis and being a tennis player.
Yeah, I think I always struggled in my early 20s doing anything other than tennis because I always felt like I wasn't being professional if I was starting something different or outside, and I couldn't actually even, I knew that my mind couldn't take both. So for a while there it was just tennis, and sometimes it would get a little heavy. And I think with COVID and then having some setbacks last 2 years, I was really ready to, you know, take care of my tennis and whatever, rehab and stuff, and then I was open to just, I could compartmentalize much easier, and now I really love the balance. Like I'm always open to talking about, you know, something that interests me outside of tennis, and even starting, like, you know, I think it's really important to think about life after tennis, and I'm definitely not someone that, you know, wants to do nothing after. I can't even afford to do that, so I would love to find a new passion, because I think it's really unique if you find one passion in life, but if I can find a second one that doesn't feel like work after is something I want to do. So I've been kind of dabbling in that and just having fun with it, yeah.
Something else you may have had fun with? You might have to reflect back on a little bit, but I noticed here on the website at the ATX Open that in your bio they mentioned Breakpoint, and that's still available to stream on Netflix. And I'm wondering, do you have a lot of younger fans or just fans in general that kind of come up to you or kind of work that into conversation? And how does that make you feel to kind of have that as a platform as well, mentioning other things, you know, that you're balancing?
Yeah, I get more like people that don't really know tennis, but they say they've watched it, which I think is super cool. I mean, I've done that myself with other sports that I don't follow, but I did want to know this, the story in a documentary like Breakpoint. And I think it's super cool that I did it. It wasn't, it was a cool experience, and it had a lot of time we had to give, which, you have to. And I think that I'm really pleased that it came out so good for me, because I had a pretty cool year, and to capture such a unique kind of moment that I'll probably never experience again with Serena. I think I'm just really fortunate that I was that lucky, so it's really cool.
Would you consider doing it again if they reached out?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
I think I really am pretty comfortable in front of a camera and just opening up my life in that way. I think once you've done it once, it's hard to pull back the curtain and be like, no, I want to be private. And I think I've been pretty vulnerable on it as well. I've probably done things I maybe wouldn't do again, which is probably maybe showed that much as like have a relationship in it. But, I'm okay with it being out there, but I probably wouldn't do that part again.
Fair. And another question kind of about TV. Would you ever consider doing some things that other people you competed with, like over the years, are doing, like broadcasting and like doing punditry? I can kind of see that for you, but would you ever consider doing it yourself?
I started doing it a little bit in New York last year and in Australia, just to, like I said, start building some sort of, not platform, but just like opening up doors, for maybe life after, and see even if I like it. And it's honestly for now just fun. I think it helps my tennis, but I would love to, I like commentating, but I would love to maybe go more into the area where I'm talking one-on-one with players and being on the other end of, I love talking to people about their stories. I think it's really fun. That's why I also like doing podcasts. And I just I really love talking to people, so maybe something like that.
Okay, cool. Well, it's been fun talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Bye.
Good luck the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
You're welcome.